Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we continue where we left off when we were reviewing Piranha 3DD, and now we're reviewing its sequel sister called...
Sequel sister?
Well, technically, it went directly to DVD.
That sounds fishy to me.
And so it's called Piranha 3DD.
That's 3DD. The other one was Piranha 3D. That was done in 2010. This is Piranha 3DD, or some of the marketing and some of the DVD cases actually have it as Piranha DD. So when you go hunting for it later on, I'll remind you later. But yeah, it's done in 2012.
Right.
There you go. So I'll reinforce it later for you guys who are paying attention.
And of course, our favourite mad scientist is back in it. Christopher Lloyd is back.
Christopher Lloyd, he's wonderful.
Who continues to be the
he's a weird man.
predictor of doom.
Yes, he does play the crazy scientist. I look, the things I see, stick in my mind. I'm pretty sure it's Uncle Fester in the Addams Family movie. Obviously, Back to the Future. Was he in Roger Rabbit?
Yes.
Did he play
he did.
The mean, evil guy?
Evil, baddie guy.
Yeah.
With weird eyes.
So he comes up, he loves these weird roles. And he's pretty good at them. Yeah.
If he wants to, if there's a role out there that's creepy and weird
strange,
and does
left
not,
of center,
and has good dialogue, he would probably be joining them.
He's funny when it comes to these weird roles.
But lately, I think that I don't know if he's... I think I heard he was going to do Rick and Morty, I think it was, so I'm not sure. Okay. It's sort of a spin-off of Back to the Future with... his character looks like him as
he's going to be a cartoon character or something, and he's going to do the voice or something.
Yeah, most likely. Well, not the voice, actually. They're doing a live action of it, but I'm not sure if they're going to go with it or they cancelled it. Because lately, at the moment, people are either cancelling a project or they postponed it. It's a slippery slope at the moment because of all the strikes that have been happening at the moment.
Okay, now can I go through my usual crap?
Yes.
Okay, produced by Mark Canton, Canton, Mark Toberoff and Joel Soisson, Soisson.
Oh, right.
Soisson, whatever. Okay, directed by John Gulager, Gulager. Okay, written by Patrick Melton, Marcus Dunstan, and Joel Soisson, based on the characters are created by Peter Goldfinger and Josh Stolberg. Okay, right. Now, before I get into the actors, I'm just working my way down the list here. The budget was about 7.5 mil. It only boxed off at about 8.5.
Yeah,
so it wasn't a real good money earner at the theatre.
I found something interesting, Mike, when we were talking about Paul Goldfinger. I found out that he made the he assisted in the trailer the script writing for the Spiral spin-off movie series, from the Book of Saw. Oh, wow. And of course, like clockwork,
I take back everything I've thought about.
Well, you would take back the fact that particular movie was a bit of a money drainer when I think about that one.
Money drainer?
Well, the Spiral one, it was more. Chris Rock wanted to throw a lot of funny one-liner jokes into the dialogue, and which he did without any fault of.
Can't help himself, can he?
He kept on going on in his interview saying, "What do we need in the Saw franchise? Laughs.
Ho, ho, ho.
But Saw's...
Laugh before you die.
But Saw is not that type of...
No, it's not supposed to be comedy.
It's supposed to be horror and thriller in those categories. In those categories, obviously. There's no room for comedy routines in this one. Anyway, so getting back to Piranha. So, as we speak...
Oh, we'll run through some of the actors, eh?
Oh, by the way, what was there a budget on this? Or was this
7.5 if you were paying attention?
Okay, 7.5.
And the box office was 8.5. It didn't earn a lot of money.
Well, this went directly to DVD, so that's no surprise.
I didn't say go directly to DVD. That was the box. It had a very limited run. Then it went to DVD really quickly to make some money. Now, here we go. Here's a list. I'll give you about 10 of them here. Okay, Danielle Panabaker plays Maddy.
Yeah.
She's a nice lady.
She's a nice girl.
Matt Bush plays Barry. Katrina Bowden plays Shelby. Jean-Luc Bilodeau plays Josh.
Yeah.
David Koechner, Koechner, plays Chet. He's the police guy's name.
No, he plays the water park owner.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he, her uncle or whatever it is. Yeah. Chris Zorka plays Kyle. Adrian Martinez plays Big Dave.
He's the guy who, you'll soon find out.
Anyway, Paul James Jordan plays Travis. Megan Tandy plays Ashley. I'm going through these because the last one here is going to be David Hasselhoff. Does a cameo type bit role in it. He comes there as a guest to open up the park's theme day or something or other. Or
he was opening up one of the parks where it deals with a bit of an adult pool area.
And yes, you could go naked.
Where you can go naked and you can purchase condoms if you feel the urge. Oh gosh. And it's, like I said before in this movie, this one it goes all out in this one. It does pull off all, pull this all.
It does everything and some things it shouldn't do. And
as I said before, the title of this movie called Free Double D. The double D means D cups probably. I think that was implied in this movie, or the directors suggest this in this movie.
Well, considering if you look at the poster, Piranha 3DD is right over her boobs. Again,
hint, hint, hunt,
whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on. Oh yeah, I should mention two of our actors from the first one. They came back into this
does a cameo.
Too. Yeah, a guy who was a deputy for when he used the special. A propeller and killed the piranhas in that particular movie. And the other one was a guy who was a camera guy who was working with the with one of our what's his name here? Sorry guys. Derek, who got killed, but he got better. But the other guy is now become a sort of personal assistant to this deputy because he's now legless. I'm sad to say. Because he got his
I've
legs.
Been that way many times myself.
He got his legs bitten off by the piranhas. Someone was incidentally telling me about something interesting before we started recording. There was something interesting that came up to mind when I was on Facebook, which showed that when piranhas start eating you, you start screaming, and you continue screaming when the piranhas start eating you and all that stuff.
Of course I would. If I put my teeth in and I bit you,
and this is
and
underwater,
I took a big chunk out of you, would you scream?
True, but as they continue chomping on you,
more.
You continue screaming until
you can't scream more
until you're gone. You're dead.
Now, by the way, I was going to mention this one. There's a very, very small bit part in the beginning of the movie, and at first I said, "Gee, I recognise that face." It's a bit of a bit role. A guy gets killed off, and it's Gary Busey. He plays a country lad trying to get a cow out of the lake of his mate there, and they both obviously...
Yeah, I should have mentioned him earlier, guys, but sorry, guys.
Gary Busey, but it's only a very, 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 very small bit role right at the beginning, but it is quite funny.
I think he had a lot of laughs when he did that scene.
He looked like he wasn't taking it terribly seriously, and when I was looking at his face, it looked like he was smiling too much when he's being eaten. But anyway... well, never mind.
Yes, so do you mind if I get into the story now?
You might as well.
Yeah, so the story begins with a bunch of those two men we mentioned. They find their dead cow, and it somehow starts farting, and these weird little balls coming out of it. And we find out those balls are actually eggs that belong to the piranha eggs we saw it in the first movie.
So the way I see it, the cow is going and drowned itself in the lake or whatever, and
something's planted them inside there.
The piranhas have laid some eggs inside the cow to help incubate them and to give the babies possibly somewhere to be safe and
something
maybe
to
get
eat.
some sustenance out when they first pop out. And when the cow was farting, it was actually the methane was being released out of the back of the cow in the general perimeter area of its rear end. So everyone thought, poo, why is it farting? And it was a bit of a funny joke at the time.
And as the men get closer to it, they end up using one of their little matches and accidentally, after the cow farts again,
we know the old blue flame, don't we, guys?
Yeah. And then piranhas start swarming and start attacking the two men, obviously.
And
then we cross over to the fact, just so you guys know, they talk about the previous piranha incident, past piranha incident, and the town itself that was attacked by piranhas in the last movie is turned into a ghost town. There's no, the stores have closed up. People have moved away.
That was around the lake area, a little lake
and
or something.
The lake itself is drained. I don't know. And the only one resident is is the local mad doctor who believes in this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we then cross over to a water park that's about to open its adult section of the park, and Maddy, the girl who's also a bit of a part owner in this water park, she objects to the fact about the having an adult area where you're allowed to swim naked and purchase condoms, and I don't know what else is going to happen inside that area. It makes me think, oh great, this will be disgusting. But Chad is all for it, and she also objects to the fact that he fired all the lifeguards for women who are just good looking to look at.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, while girls would probably guys would line up for mouth to mouth, what about the fact that they will not know where to suck first? I don't know.
You're going a bit rude now.
I know, but this movie has been rude the moment it was released.
Well, there were a few booby-doobies and other things being flashed around the place, so yeah.
We then introduce the other members of our cast. We meet Barry, and what's his name? Josh, and let me see, and her friend, what's her name?
Shelby?
Shelby. And another two, and some other friends, obviously. So just so you guys know, Shelby's character, she's actually the actress from Dill and Tucker versus Evil. She plays Ashley, I think. Right? Allison, I think it was the character.
Yeah, we think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so both her friends,
cute blonde. Yeah.
Both her friends go off and go. Well, Shelby and her boyfriend, they head off to go skinny dipping and whatnot. And don't ask me if it was winter time there, because I don't know.
Well, it was supposed to be summertime, but we think it was winter time.
Yeah.
I'll check the production notes in a minute.
Anyway, they go into the water, and while they're getting down to gritty, they complain of... Well, she complains about getting bitten, or not really bitten.
No, she's in the water, and they were close together, and she felt something in her vagina area, and she says, "What are you doing?" And then she got out of the water.
Yeah, both of them get out of the water.
Unbeknownst to her.
Unbeknownst to anyone.
A piranha had slipped up her...
You know what. But before we get to that little disgusting antidote, our other two people who are getting down and gritty are in their van, and they're about to get it on. But then...
Yes, Travis and Ashley. Yeah, and the thing is... Ashley is a girl. Yeah. Ashley, she handcuffs Travis to the bed. She's going to do naughty things to him, and his foot kicks the handbrake.
Oh boy!
And then the van starts to roll into the lake.
Yeah.
So he is stuck inside the van, can't get out, and she's getting out, and all of a sudden they got piranhas rolling around the place.
Yeah.
Hey,
And before you get to that part, she slipped the key in some part of her body.
Oh, yeah, she had the key for the handcuffs in a bra or something rather.
Yeah.
But she dropped them inside the van somewhere, so no one knows where the key really is.
Yeah, idiot.
Duh.
Anyway, so she climbs out of the van to try to yell for help and stuff like that, or try to get or something. But somehow, soon enough, as the truck sinks further, soon enough piranhas start attacking the van, obviously.
Well, Travis and what's he?
Yeah, Ashley's on top of the van, screaming her tits off, and we know that Travis is a goner at this point.
Well, he's underwater probably as well by this time because you can't breathe underwater.
Oh, duh.
Or scream easily.
Yeah, then the next day, the group to try to figure out what happened to their friends, obviously. Of course, they do think that there's something wrong with this park thingy-wing, and then let me see what happens. We then learn that they just do eventually discover that there might be piranhas swimming in that side of the lake because they're pumping water from that particular lake, and
and they were supposedly the park operator was supposed to be buying it off the grid, and he cheated by taking the water out of the lake, and they thought there might have been a problem with the lake, but he was doing it. And no one knew.
Yeah, a deputy officer in the area is also receiving bribes from Chad. Trying to take a blind eye.
Not Chad.
Accepting bribes from him and trying to turn a blind eye to the whole incident. But it doesn't stop him from helping Maddy because I think he's in a relationship with her, right, Mike?
Exactly.
So anyway, he does help, and both Maddy and him and Brad, they go to the where the pumping the water is, and she goes underwater while the two men stay behind. Obviously, while this is happening, Shelby and her boyfriend Josh are getting on, obviously, and while they're, doing the biggie, she goes
the hunker chunker.
Yeah. She soon enough, as they're doing it, I think something starts swimming around into his thing and starts chomping at him, obviously. And we soon realize that the piranha we mentioned that was inside her is now chomping on his, parts.
Yes, he's a Willy. Really. Let's just say he got significantly shorter.
Yeah, of course, so you guys know, both people are fine, but I don't know if he'll still be able to function down there.
Well, size does matter.
Yes, it does.
And he's lost a couple of inches off it.
Yeah, and Shelby is fine. I think they probably would have checked if anything's wrong inside, the usual stuff, the pregnancy tests. I hope nothing. I hope the piranha didn't leave any eggs behind. Hopefully not.
Well, hope not.
Not that I'm aware of. Anyway, so eventually, when they Maddy finds about the piranhas swimming in there, she decides to go to the local expert, or not really local. She knows of an expert because she's studying marine life. I think
the fishy stuff here.
And so she heads down to where the last piranha attack took place, and he explains about how he told them about how he was laughed at because of his last book about marinas, about fish are going to come out of the water and start walking. That was everyone laughed about him about that.
They always laugh at them until it's proven right. Then they say, well, I tried to tell you.
He then goes on to explain that the possible latest piranha attacks that is taking place near where they are, out near where Maddy lives, is probably because that these piranhas have used those special trains that are underneath the water surface and allowed them to swim into other areas into other lakes, obviously, and somehow the special chlorine in the water near the pool causes them to go crazy.
I'll try to explain this. Now, they said something in the movie that they said something in the production of the chloride to help purify the water gives off something like a sulfur or methane gas or something or other, and the piranha are attracted to this. So,
Yes.
when you think about it, let's say methane, I think it's methane because the cow and it's methane. So, if you're in the water and you farted, guess what? That'd be dinner bell for the piranhas, okay?
Yeah, true.
So it's probably, it's got to be some sort of methane gas, something or other.
Yeah. And so you guys know, the piranhas, they kind of gotten stronger. As in, he gives them this demonstration using the piranha he caught in the first movie, the Piranha 3D, obviously, and he puts a sheet of metal in there and a frog in the other end, and the piranha tries to get at it by banging its head.
And he bent the metal plate.
Of course, the frog was unharmed, and I think it was Barry who saved him because he said something about he likes frogs.
Yeah, that frog was younger. Yeah.
Yeah, he also goes on to he also expresses that his like for marine life, and the professor thinks, "Oh, we're kindred spirits. Here, take a book." Because he kind of, as I said before, his last book was about the fish jumping out of the water and walking, and of course
becoming amphibians.
Yeah, of course, not many people believed him because, as we said before, it's always this always happens in scientific circles. It happened in the past previously. I won't go into details there because that's ancient history according to some people. Anyway, so they realize that they're in big trouble now, so they head back to the park, and as it's going to be opening or starting to open, they try to warn Chad about the upcoming chance of this sort of thing, and he also reveals he's found the train water source underneath the ground. He's drilling that possibly is where the piranhas are coming from.
In the first movie, there's an underground lake they're living in for all these millions of years, and he's tapped in the same water source.
Yes. So he's not just tapping inside that particular lake. He's tapping directly deep down.
The more I think about it, I think he's actually tapping down into the lake. Yeah, not into the local lake. Yeah.
We also meet David Hasselhoff, the famous actor who is there to open that part of the park.
A celebrity guest.
Of course, everyone either takes him as being a lifeguard so seriously because they've seen Baywatch, obviously. Well, who doesn't? I watched...
we used to call boob watch, but anyway.
Well, bear in mind, Mike, Pamela Anderson was in that TV series, and she was well known in it.
Alexander Paul, there's some other people, and those girls look really good. They chose them because they look good.
Yeah.
I used to watch them all the time. Yeah.
I used to watch it too, in the 90s too.
I just watched it. But
don't be rude.
I wasn't. They looked good. Alexander Paul was.
Yeah.
I liked her better than Pamela.
Of course, one kid, says, just sees him as a lifeguard, yada yada, and he claims that he was bitten by a piranha or a fish, and his mother says, "You just may have scraped your leg against maybe something metallic, you know, the usual stuff that
kids exaggerate, don't they?
We don't know that. Anyway, David just brushed him off, saying, "I'm not a lifeguard. Yeah.
I'm an actor.
I'm just an actor, you know, from Baywatch and all those other shows and movies and cameos." So anyway, of course, Maddy approaches her uncle, tells him, not her uncle, her stepfather, I should say, and she tries to tell him to close the park down, but he gets the deputy and drags him away. Of course, all the time she's yelling at everyone to get out of the water,
and no one's listening.
Of course. Anyway, by the time hell breaks loose, the lifeguards that Chad got are useless. They don't do anything.
They look pretty.
They're just
that's okay. I like candy.
The only thing they could do is blow their stupid whistle.
And wobble their boobs.
Yeah, they're useless. Anyway, soon enough, everyone's running around trying to get away from these piranha fish, and of course, we get a few people who get bitten, and Chad realizes he's just done the biggest boo-boo in the world, so he quickly dashes to the till, or the to his office and takes the money and tries to run. Of course, he gets his head lopped off by a banner, or one of those never mind, one of those things, and he gets his head sliced off, stuff like that. Everyone is his whole empire is crumbling to the ground as we speak. Anyway, the deputy there is useless. He tries to save Maddy, but decides to duck out before it got worse. Of course, Brad and his friend Big Dave, they try to pour in some gases into the
chlorine down into the pot. I didn't know it, but chlorine is chloride.
Yeah.
Whatever. Chlorine is a volatile.
Well. Maddy uses a vacuum to suck the piranha fish out of the pools, obviously.
No, she drains it.
She drains it.
The pump on to drain it out.
Yeah. Of course, while she's doing this, she kind of gets sucked by the same drain, obviously, and nearly comes close to drowning. But luckily enough, her friend Brad steps in.
Who doesn't swim?
Who steps in and saves her, of course.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
And, of course, they get out, and then we see Dave Hasselhoff trying to save a kid, obviously, becoming the hero, as he put it.
He saved somebody. Yay.
Now put me down. Good grief. It's so funny in that scene.
Well,
Yeah, the rest of the time, everyone is appears useless. Anyway, Brad does give Maddy the kiss of life, and she says in the one scene that she thought he was gay, but no, he turns out to be a very intellectual fella.
Yeah, very nice guy, but gentle.
Yeah, well, as I've said in the past, just because they're not masculine or manly does not mean that they might be gay.
No,
in my opinion,
it might be a bit of a warning, but doesn't mean they're gay.
No, it's not.
So give them a chance, girls. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, anyway, they kiss, and then as we watch as her ex, the deputy, tries to save a body, but he's already dead. And
he's going off his. Yeah,
he's just lost his brain.
Stupid.
And at this point, this is where Big Dave takes, after he pours in the gasoline, and he takes his joint and throws it in there, and then we get the biggest explosion.
Yeah, in a lot of the piranha.
Yeah, of course we see bits of piranha fly everywhere.
Now this is good because there's stuff going on in place, and. What happens to...
Just then, the ring, the professor rings and says, "Oh, they're evolving. They're now walking, just like I predicted." And she then says...
the lungfish, I think it's called. Yeah.
And then Maddy says, "I know." We then see that one of the fish is crawling out onto the dry land, and one of the little boys that has been around for quite a bit begins to record it, and he says to his mum, "Don't worry, they're slow," but actually
it jumps up
and bites his head off. And
it must be very hungry.
Yeah, and then we watch as other people surround the dead boy, and I think they start. Then we go to the credits, but all the time we see these people actually taking out their phones and filming the.
You missed a couple of things when Chet was trying to get away with the.
I mentioned that already.
Money from the till he get head cut off.
Yeah,
did you?
Yeah, I did.
And how about with Kyle, this trident coming down and hit
Oh yeah, he gets his head speared in the head.
When the place blew up, some of the props got blown up in the sky a little bit, and Kyle is standing there. I wonder what's happening or whatever. And he looked up, and this trident must have been solid, came straight down and pierced him straight through the head.
Yeah,
really nice. He couldn't have planned it any better.
Yeah. Anyway, all the while during the credits, you see these people taking out their phones and start filming the fish coming out of the water or moving around. Or
a bit of iPhone stuff, a few selfies with the dead people, and then we see David Hasselhoff
in his latest premiere TV series as the fish whatever.
The Fish Hunter or something? Or
Fish Hunter.
Whatever.
Sounds a little bit like a fisherman's show, if you ask me.
Fish and chips or something. Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's just another box office flop when I think about it. Anyways.
Heading that way.
Yeah. We do get a few bloopers, in the credits here and there.
A couple here and there,
mostly we do with the puppeteer work with some of the piranha scenes. Like there's one scene where it takes place in the bathroom scenes. It makes me think of Freddy Krueger's bathroom scene, where in that one you see a very big piranha fish coming out of the water. As big as just bigger than those other piranha fish we just see in the movie. Anyway, the rest of the time it's funny and weird and I don't know.
Stuff.
Anyway, let's look at the reception, Mike. I really want to hear what ordinary other filmmakers and reviewers may think about this movie.
Guess what? It's crap. No, pretty much. No one liked it. Here we go. I read through it before I got really that bad. Okay. Reception. Here we go.
Here we go, folks.
My favourite, Rotten Tomatoes. There's always a good jumping up point. A rating of 12% based on 53 reviews.
Okay.
So it's a critical consensus. It's strange to up the gore and self-awareness of its predecessor. And despite some game celebrity cameos, David Hasselhoff for one, the result is a dispiriting echo of the 2010's horror comedy. So they're saying what I believe the first movie, 2010, was better. Anyway.
Yeah.
Metacritic had a weighted average score 24 out of 100, indicating generally unfavourable reviews. Variety magazine, a negative review stating the movie ups the self-parody so much that it's practically a Wayans Brothers spoof, albeit with fewer jokes. Ben Rawson-Jones, not sure where he's from, gave the film a scathing review with a rating of 1 out of 5 stars and was highly critical of the use of 3D and direction, despite his enjoyment of the first film. So they're only echoing what I was saying to you before when we saw both the movies. I think the first movie, the 2010 Piranha 3D, is a better movie than the 2012
Well, it does take
Piranha 3DD.
It doesn't take it doesn't do well, when you think about it, it does make you think it's more serious about the story and the plots when you think about it.
You mean serious?
I mean, the parts about the fact that it's possible that maybe during an earthquake, something from underneath the earth might come out and start attacking.
I'm waiting for Godzilla to come out of the lake now, are we?
But as we said in the past, Mike, these things could happen.
Well, Godzilla, Piranha, Mantis, Tarantula, what else? What the guys from Teenage Brown Space had a giant lobster. What else? Yeah, well, there's lots of good groovy things there. The killing. Oh, giant ants. That was not a good movie. Yeah. All those giant critters waiting to rip you apart.
Well, maybe so, Mike. But you've got to admit, Mike, that it is interesting considering the fact that the piranhas could be a very big danger, and if they did,
you know what?
They did become a very big, massive problem, and they start attacking more, in big packs and big groups, they can really, we could be in for a very big problem, especially in lakes and other areas.
Very much so.
I gotta admit, though, even though we haven't discussed it yet, that probably in the past they've probably discussed it. Obviously, whether or not they can come out into the ocean water.
No, I think there's. I think they're only capable. Well, unless they go through some major changes, they're freshwater.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think.
However,
however,
they could could change.
Yeah, I remember
There's saltwater and freshwater crocodiles.
I do remember when they did the first one. At the end of that one, they do question whether or not those piranha they killed would evolve and start going into the ocean part of the world.
They might go to the beach. Yeah.
And whether they'll survive, we don't know about that yet.
Well, the problem is when they go to the beach, they won't find a place to put the towel anywhere because there's so many people there.
Anyway, I'm on Mike's side and the few reviewers' side because I do think this one was more interested in the nudity and famous faces than making a good story.
That's what it was. They were relying on the nudity and Hasselhoff and that sort of stuff to help float the movie, and it didn't quite work.
Yeah, well, that's what most people do. They think if I make a good sequel, I should bring in the most popular faces just to get the numbers up.
And unfortunately, if it had a slightly better storyline, it might have worked better, but
yeah.
Didn't work. No, sorry. No, mate. Oh, yeah, it's not really. Well, poo happens, hey.
Oh, yeah. First class poo.
Anyway, I can't say much about this.
Me neither. I mean, only the fact it does come off some stuff I wanted to kind of roll my eyes at because the nudity didn't like it very much. I mean, it's not a given or an add-on. It's just plain old disgusting.
What's that?
The nudity.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was good.
For guys, it's good, but for girls, it's I don't know. I mean, we always see girls getting in the nude, but when it comes to guys, it's
and the guy just seeing the nude don't necessarily look all that good. What's wrong with getting a couple of good-looking guys to strip off instead of the slightly chubby, ugly guy?
Yeah. Anyway, I did think that Chad guy was a bit of a weirdo, especially how he was all he seemed to be focused on the dollars, and in the end, he ended up causing this, thanks to him pumping water from that train area, that he caused more people to get hurt.
He did. And what a naughty man.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. I gotta admit, though, this one does have a little more comedy, much more comedy than horror than the first one.
I think the other one had a better balance.
Yeah, it had a better balance.
They actually had a storyline in the first movie.
Yeah, in the background.
This one was really straining for the storyline.
Yeah, well, they were running on water. They were running on water, so to speak. Anyway,
much,
should we rate this now? Because I don't have very much
I'm going to give
add.
it a 7, and that's been generous. And I'm giving that because, apart from the storyline, the crap, I mean, the filming and the main actors and stuff, they did a pretty good job trying to support the movie. And but the rest of the storyline and other things, and just the hoping the naked bodies and David Hasselhoff being a cameo would actually you don't make movies like that. It was a little bit boring in the end, but I can't knock the cast. I mean the crew who actually made it work, because really the filming techniques and everything and the special effects and stuff, they were pretty good for a reasonably low budget. I'm going to say low, but 8 mils, whatever. That's not really low budget, but. I think it had a lower budget than the first movie too. I think so. Yeah, it did reasonably good, but it can't compare to the first movie. So about 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 7 too, guys. I mean, the nudity didn't do it for me, and
that's me.
This plot was not too bad. I did do not.
It does make Aquasplash or Aquaslash, whatever it's called, look. It's a balancing act, isn't it?
Well, Aquaslash, it didn't do well because I mean, it was more. That was more of a. It didn't have enough horror in it. Where this one, it did bring in the horror into the beginning, and then in the middle, right the end, then had more horror at the end. The very big part where all the people who started getting killed. But in this. In Aquaslash, they just focus on the end result of all the people getting massively killed down the slide.
Filling the pool of water.
It would have been cool if there were kills in between, like this one here.
Spaced out the killings a bit.
Yeah, space it out. Just make it look like
more fun for everybody.
But I guess the whole point in that movie was not to focus so heavily on that there's a killer among them, all that stuff. Even though in that movie they never even figured out who may have actually put the blades in and who was likely the killer in the end.
Freddy Krueger did it.
Whereas in this one, it did have they did work it out in their heads what it was that was killing their friends, and that they have to stop it before it becomes a big problem at this park. And I think it's a bit of this movie was a bit of more of an improvement from Aqua Slash. Aqua Slash was just more of a drama than a horror when I think about that movie.
Oh yeah, until a little bit of blood at the end,
Anyway, so
now where we get it?
Where can you get
it?
If you want it.
eBay, there is plenty for sale. Surprising. Nobody wants it. No. Okay.
I imagine they do. They have a double set, whatever they call it?
There's double sets, and there's a special metal box sets where you got the ordinary one plus 3D, real 3D,
cool.
Not just 3D by name. I mean, this is called 3D, but obviously they've
3D.
brought it back to 2D so you can actually watch it. But there are a couple of metal tins where you got both. You got the 2D version and the 3D version where you might need your glasses and stuff. But anyway, here we go. eBay's plenty for sale. Amazon, you can rent it or buy it. Note the name. Okay, it's got two names. It's called Piranha 3DD or Piranha DD, depending on what cover you're looking at. Okay, but it's still 2012.
Yeah, guys.
When you go looking for it, if you look for the main character, which is Daniel Panabaker, and directed by John Gallagher, produced by Mark Canton, Mark Toberoff, and Joel Soyson.
Yeah.
If you go for that, have a look for those sort of things.
Yeah.
Then you'll be on the right product.
Yeah, and
if you want to have a look.
And if you do see a woman on the front with just
Piranha 3D across the boobs, that's the one you want.
That's the one you want, and it's.
But that's one of the covers. There's another cover.
Yeah, there's probably a few other covers.
Yeah.
Considering this was back in 2012, they may have updated it over the years. That's what they do in movies. Update the cover so people can get more confused.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
well, that's what they do.
I can't say anything more about it. I mean, they tried to make a sequel to be as good or as interesting as the first one, but it dropped a bit short.
Yeah, don't know it.
Which is a bit of a shame.
It is a shame.
Because they could have done so much better with a little bit more effort.
Yeah, put a little bit more thought into it. You may get a good product on your hands. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know these things.
It was a shame, but it had potential to be better. Anyway, do you want to kill it?
A lot of times, most people who do make sequels, they focus too much on the money instead of on the storyline.
Yeah, can we get a few more bucks out of it?
Yeah, and in this case, they were more focused on trying to get pretty up the product with pretty faces.
Oh, yeah. I will say one more thing. I will stress this one other thing. I might have mentioned a few moments ago. When you get the metal one, the metal boxes, you have a real 3D copy in there. But be careful, you might have a real 3D copy out there when you go hunting for it. Okay? So don't get a 3D one, a real 3D one, if you don't have a 3D player. Yeah? Or glasses of crap. Okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Would be a big mistake there.
Otherwise, you won't be able to watch it. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Ha ha.
So that's Piranha 3DD. So be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you guys think of it and whether or not you think if it's better than the original or needs work.
And does it turn you off sushi?
That's a thought. So think about that, folks. So thanks for listening to this podcast, everyone. And be sure to check out our previous podcasts and be sure to keep up with as we go along here and there. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying see you guys around, and we'll see you guys for our next podcast. Bye for now.
Bye.